So, and we'll get into time dilation in maybe the next one, where I'll bury the muon decay, which supposedly proves length contraction and time dilation. And to give you a brief breakdown of what they claim that the muon is like the electron's awkward heavy cousin, right? The electron that they claim was a charge-carrying particle of matter that has no size or shape, at least no known size or shape, but they know it's matter, but they don't know it has size or shape, but they know it's matter. It's material, but no size or shape. And it's carrying a charge like Santa carries a bag. And then they slowly changed it sleight of hand and let all the lay people run around keep saying that, right? And it's 100 million times smaller than the atom that can't be directly observed unless you create a contrasted image with reflectance, right? You create an image of an atom that's 99.99999% empty space. The electron is 100 million times smaller than that. And then there's something they call the muon, which is the cousin of the electron, just a little heavier. And they claim this comes from cosmic rays from space coming down to the Earth, hitting a certain layer in the Earth's atmosphere, and then creating different subatomic particles, one of which is a muon. And when they claim they find the muon on the surface of the Earth, they see that it only lasts a very small portion of time, right? And then they see way too many of the muons on the surface of the Earth, which means that muon had to get way further than it could have based on its lifespan. Therefore, time must have physically changed and slowed down as distance shortened. Okay. And they claim that's evidence that they detect too many muons at the surface, and that is the best evidence they have. We'll cover that next show. We'll cover time dilation. And this is cutting edge science. I mean, this is how bad the heliocentric model is, dude. This is just reprehensible. It's so incompetent. But the reason that I wanted to touch on time dilation real quick is just so everyone understands the basic concept. Okay, you got speed. Speed, right? Speed is the amount of distance traveled over time. Distance over time equals speed. Okay, so if you're going to claim that light has an absolute speed, constant, it's absolute for all observers, it's constant, it's absolute. Okay, so it can't change. C, constant speed. But you're going to claim that the distance got shorter, right? You're going to have to also change the time. Because if you change the distance but keep the speed the same, that means you're going to have to change the time. Simple analogy. If someone runs across a football field that's 100 yards and it takes them 5 seconds, and then another guy, probably having more melanin, runs across 2 football fields in 5 seconds. Now they've ran different distances, 100 yards and 200 yards, but they had the same time, which means the one guy that ran 200 yards in the 5 seconds had to be going faster, right? Speed equals distance over time. They said that the distance or the length contracted, and that the length of the apparatus contracting made the distance that light path had to travel shorter, which means if you want to keep the same speed, but change that distance to save the heliocentric model, you then have to claim that time also changed. That is how they came up with time dilation. No experiments, nothing like that. This is actually antithetical to science. It's a religion. It's a philosophical bias built upon the doctrine of men. Void of empirical evidence, and in fact, it's so egregious it's in the face of the evidence, antithetical to empirical evidence. So that's how they came up with time dilation.